The alarm clock rang at exactly 5:30 in the morning at Kensington Palace. Catherine slowly opened her eyes and felt her heart beating faster than usual. Today was not just any ordinary day. Today was the day that would change how the world saw the British royal family forever. She looked out of her bedroom window and saw hundreds of people already gathering on the streets below. Some had been camping there all night just to catch a glimpse of the royal family. William was already awake in the room next door. He had been lying in bed for the past hour thinking about his father, King Charles, and how proud he would be today. The coronation was not just about celebrating the new king. It was also about showing the world that the royal family was ready for modern times. William knew that every single detail of today would be remembered for years to come. The palace was buzzing with activity even at this early hour. Servants were running up and down the corridors carrying fresh flowers and making final preparations. The kitchen staff had been working since midnight to prepare special meals for all the important guests who would visit the palace later. Security guards were checking every corner of the building one more time to make sure everything was perfectly safe. Catherine got out of bed and walked to her dressing room where three of the most skilled fashion experts in London were waiting for her. They had been planning this moment for almost 6 months. Every thread and every jewel on her dress had been chosen with extreme care. The white Alexander McQueen gown was hanging on a special stand, and it looked absolutely magnificent in the morning light coming through the windows. The dress was not just beautiful, but it also told a story. The silver embroidery was done by hand, and it took skilled workers over 200 hours to complete. Each silver thread was placed in exactly the right position to catch the light when Catherine would walk down the aisle at Westminster Abbey. The designers wanted to make sure that when people looked at photographs of this day 50 years from now, they would still be amazed by how stunning she looked. Meanwhile, William was getting ready in his own room with the help of his personal valet. His ceremonial military uniform had been specially cleaned and pressed for this occasion. Every medal and every button was polished until it shined like new. The uniform represented not just his position as a prince, but also his years of service in the Royal Air Force. He was proud to wear it on this special day. What made this morning different from any other royal event was the careful planning that had gone into making sure Catherine and William would look perfect together. Usually royal couples dressed according to separate traditions. The men wore their military uniforms, and the women wore modest dresses that would not take attention away from their husbands. But Catherine and William had decided to break this old tradition. They had worked together with their fashion teams to create a coordinated look that would show the world they were equal partners. The silver details on William's uniform were specially chosen to match the silver embroidery on Catherine's dress. Even their jewelry was selected to complement each other perfectly. This level of coordination had never been seen before in royal history. As Catherine stood in front of the mirror, while her stylists made the final adjustments to her dress, she felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. She knew that millions of people around the world would be watching her every move today. Every photograph would be analyzed by fashion experts and royal watchers. But she also knew that she and William were ready to show the world what a modern royal partnership could look like. The morning sun was getting brighter and the crowds outside were getting larger. Inside the palace, Catherine and William were putting the finishing touches on their historic looks. They had no idea that their carefully coordinated appearance would start a new chapter in royal fashion history. In just a few hours, they would walk into Westminster Abbey together and show the world that the British monarchy was ready to embrace equality, partnership, and modern values while still respecting centuries of royal tradition. The morning of history had begun, and Catherine and William were ready to make their mark. For over 1,000 years, the British royal family had followed the same rules when it came to important ceremonies. The king or prince would always be the star of the show, while his wife stayed quietly in the background. Royal wives were taught to choose simple colors like beige or pale blue that would not draw too much attention. They were supposed to look elegant but never more impressive than their husbands. This was the way things had always been done, and nobody questioned these ancient traditions. But Catherine and William had very different ideas about how a royal couple should present themselves to the world. They had been married for 12 years, and during that time they had learned to work as a real team. Unlike older generations of royals who kept their marriages very formal and distant, Catherine and William genuinely enjoyed each other's company and made most of their important decisions together. When the palace fashion advisors first suggested that Catherine should wear a simple cream-colored dress for the coronation, she politely but firmly disagreed. She told them that she wanted to look like William's equal partner, not like someone who was trying to hide in the shadows. The fashion experts were shocked because no royal wife had ever made such a bold request before. William supported Catherine's decision completely. He had watched his mother, Princess Diana, struggle with the old royal traditions that made her feel like she was not important enough. He did not want Catherine to go through the same difficult experiences. William told the palace staff that he and Catherine would coordinate their outfits together and that her dress should be just as magnificent as his military uniform. The palace advisors were worried about breaking so many traditions at once. They explained to Catherine and William that royal protocol had been carefully developed over centuries and that changing too much too quickly might upset the public. Some of the older members of the royal household were particularly concerned about what the media would say if Catherine appeared to be competing with William for attention. But Catherine and William had done their research, and they knew that the public was ready for change. Opinion polls showed that most British people wanted to see the royal family become more modern and relatable. Young people especially liked the idea of seeing Catherine and William as equal partners rather than following the old-fashioned husband and wife roles that their grandparents' generation had used. The couple decided to work with Alexander McQueen, the same fashion house that had created Catherine's wedding dress in 2011. The designers at McQueen understood exactly what Catherine and William were trying to achieve. They began creating a dress that would be bold and beautiful enough to match William's ceremonial uniform, while still looking appropriately royal and elegant. The silver embroidery on Catherine's dress was the key to making their coordinated look work perfectly. William's military uniform had silver buttons, silver braiding, and silver medals. The McQueen designers used the same shade of silver thread to create intricate patterns on Catherine's white silk gown. When the couple stood together, the silver details would catch the light in the same way, creating a visual harmony that had never been seen before in royal fashion. Catherine spent hours working with the designers to make sure every detail was exactly right. She wanted her dress to honor royal traditions, while also making a clear statement about her role as William's equal partner. The final design featured a fitted bodice with long sleeves and a flowing skirt that would photograph beautifully from every angle. The silver embroidery was applied by hand using techniques that had been passed down through generations of British craftspeople. As word spread through the palace about Catherine and William's coordinated coronation outfits, the reactions were mixed. Some staff members were excited to see the royal family embracing change, while others worried about abandoning traditions that had worked well for so many centuries. But Catherine and William remained confident in their decision. They knew they were creating a new template for how modern royal couples could present themselves to the world, while still respecting the dignity and importance of the monarchy. The morning of the coronation arrived with perfect sunny weather. Outside Westminster Abbey, thousands of photographers from around the world had set up their cameras and were waiting for the moment when Catherine and William would arrive. These photographers had covered royal events for many years, but none of them were prepared for what they were about to see. When the royal car pulled up to the Abbey entrance, Catherine stepped out first. The morning sunlight hit her white Alexander McQueen dress, and the silver embroidery sparkled like diamonds. The crowd that had been waiting for hours suddenly went completely silent. Even the photographers stopped clicking their cameras for a few seconds because they were so amazed by how stunning she looked. Then William stepped out of the car wearing his ceremonial military uniform with its perfectly polished silver details. As soon as he stood next to Catherine, the photographers realized something extraordinary was happening. This royal couple did not look like the traditional king and queen from old paintings where the man dominated the picture and the woman stood quietly beside him. Instead, Catherine and William looked like two equally important people who belonged together. The photographers started taking pictures as fast as they could. Every camera angle showed the same thing. Catherine and William had created perfect visual balance. Her flowing white dress with its intricate silver patterns matched his dark blue uniform, with its silver buttons and medals. When they walked side by side toward the Abbey entrance, they looked like two pieces of a puzzle that fit together perfectly. Inside the Abbey, over 2,000 guests were already seated and waiting. These guests included kings and queens from other countries, prime ministers, movie stars, and business leaders from around the world. Many of them had attended royal ceremonies before, but they had never seen a royal couple make such a powerful visual statement about partnership and equality. As Catherine and William walked down the long aisle of Westminster Abbey together, television cameras captured every step. The silver details on both of their outfits caught the light from the ancient stained glass windows and created an almost magical effect. Fashion experts watching the ceremony on television immediately understood that they were witnessing a historic moment in royal fashion. The coordinated appearance sent several important messages to everyone watching. First, it showed that Catherine was not just William's wife, but his equal partner in representing the royal family. Second, it demonstrated that the monarchy was willing to change old traditions that no longer made sense in modern times. Third, it proved that tradition and progress could work together beautifully when planned carefully. Royal protocol experts who had initially worried about Catherine and William's decision to coordinate their outfits now realized how smart their choice had been. The visual impact of their matching appearance was so powerful that it made everyone understand their message without needing any words. They were showing the world that modern royal marriages could be based on genuine partnership and mutual respect. Television commentators around the world started talking about the significance of what they were seeing. Royal fashion had always been important because it communicated messages about power, tradition, and values. But Catherine and William's coordinated look was communicating something completely new. They were showing a monarchy that valued equality between husband and wife and was confident enough to break with centuries of tradition. The photographers continued taking hundreds of pictures throughout the ceremony. Each photograph told the same story. Here was a royal couple who had chosen to present themselves as true partners. The careful coordination of their outfits created a visual harmony that made both of them look more impressive rather than competing with each other for attention. By the end of the ceremony, fashion historians and royal watchers knew that they had witnessed something that would be remembered for generations. Catherine and William had used the power of visual messages to announce a new era for the British monarchy. Their perfectly coordinated appearance had spoken louder than any speech about their vision for a modern royal partnership. Behind the scenes at Alexander McQueen, the most talented fashion designers in London had been working day and night for 6 months to create Catherine's coronation dress. The fashion house had a special connection with Catherine because they had also designed her wedding dress back in 2011. That wedding dress had become one of the most famous royal gowns in history, and now they had the chance to create another masterpiece. Sarah Burton, the creative director at Alexander McQueen, knew that this dress would be even more challenging than the wedding gown. This time, Catherine was not just a bride getting married. She was a future queen making a statement about the modern monarchy. Every stitch, every bead, and every thread had to be perfect because millions of people around the world would be studying every detail. The design process began with Sarah Burton and her team studying William's military uniform in great detail. They needed to understand every element of his ceremonial dress so they could create a gown that would complement it perfectly. They spent weeks examining the silver braiding on his jacket, the positioning of his medals, and even the exact shade of blue in his uniform fabric. The biggest challenge was creating a dress that would look stunning on its own, while also working perfectly with William's outfit. Catherine wanted to honor royal traditions, but she also wanted to make a clear statement about being William's equal partner. The McQueen team had to find the perfect balance between respecting the past and embracing the future. The silver embroidery became the key to solving this challenge. The McQueen artisans used traditional British embroidery techniques that had been passed down through generations of skilled craftspeople. But they applied these ancient techniques in a completely new way to create patterns that would echo the silver details on William's uniform. Each piece of silver thread was placed by hand using techniques so delicate that only the most experienced embroiderers could do the work. The patterns were inspired by British flowers and leaves, but they were arranged in geometric designs that looked both traditional and modern at the same time. The embroidery took over 300 hours to complete and required the skills of 12 different craftspeople. The white silk fabric for the dress came from a mill in England that had been making luxury fabrics for the royal family for over 200 years. The silk was specially woven to have just the right weight and texture to show off the silver embroidery beautifully. The fabric had to be strong enough to support the weight of all the detailed needlework, but also light enough for Catherine to move gracefully during the long ceremony. Catherine came to the McQueen studio many times during the creation process. She worked closely with Sarah Burton to make sure every detail was exactly right. They adjusted the length of the sleeves several times to get the perfect proportion. They experimented with different styles of necklines before choosing one that looked both elegant and strong. They even tested different ways of arranging the embroidery to make sure it would photograph well from every angle. The final fitting took place just 3 days before the coronation. When Catherine put on the completed dress for the first time, everyone in the room knew they had created something truly special. The dress transformed Catherine into a vision of modern royal elegance, while the silver embroidery created the perfect connection to William's uniform. Sarah Burton later said that creating Catherine's coronation dress was the most important project of her career. She knew that this dress would be remembered alongside the most famous royal gowns in history. But more than that, she was proud to have helped Catherine and William make their statement about partnership and equality in the modern monarchy. Within minutes of Catherine and William appearing together at Westminster Abbey, social media platforms around the world started buzzing with excitement. People who had been watching the coronation ceremony on television immediately began sharing photos and comments about the couple's stunning coordinated appearance. Nobody could stop talking about how different this royal couple looked compared to previous generations. Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram were flooded with posts praising Catherine and William's fashion choices. The hashtag royal partnership started trending in over 50 countries as people celebrated seeing a royal couple who truly looked like equal partners. Fashion bloggers who had been covering royal events for years said they had never seen anything quite like this coordinated royal appearance. Royal fashion expert Emily Nash was watching the ceremony from her office in London when she realized she was witnessing something historic. She immediately started writing an article about how Catherine and William's matching outfits represented a complete change in royal fashion philosophy. She explained to her readers that this was not just about looking good together, but about sending a powerful message about modern marriage and partnership. In the United States, royal watcher Victoria Arbiter was providing live commentary for television viewers. She told her audience that Catherine and William's coordinated look showed how much the British monarchy had evolved since the days when royal wives were expected to fade into the background. She said that seeing Catherine looking so confident and elegant while perfectly complimenting William proved that the royal family understood what modern couples wanted to see. Social media users were particularly impressed by the silver embroidery on Catherine's dress and how it matched the silver details on William's uniform. Fashion enthusiasts started posting close-up photos showing exactly how the designers had achieved this coordination. Many people said they had never realized how much planning and skill went into creating such perfectly matched royal outfits. Royal historians were quick to point out the historical significance of what they were seeing. Professor Anna Whitelock, who had written several books about British royal history, explained that Catherine and William's approach represented the biggest change in royal fashion protocol in over 300 years. She said that previous royal couples had always maintained clear visual hierarchies, with the husband dominating the picture and the wife playing a supporting role. The reaction from younger viewers was especially positive. Polls conducted during and after the ceremony showed that people under 30 were thrilled to see a royal couple presenting themselves as genuine equals. Many young women said they felt inspired by seeing Catherine looking so confident and powerful while still working perfectly as part of a partnership with William. Fashion magazines around the world started planning special issues devoted to Catherine and William's coronation looks. Vogue, British Harper's Bazaar, and Elle all announced that they would be featuring detailed analyses of the couple's coordinated outfits. Fashion photographers who had covered the ceremony said they had never seen royal outfits that worked so well together, while still allowing both people to shine individually. The positive reaction was not limited to fashion experts and royal watchers. Politicians, business leaders, and celebrities also praised Catherine and William's approach. Many said they appreciated seeing a royal couple that reflected modern values about marriage and partnership. Several female politicians said they felt encouraged by seeing Catherine take such a prominent and equal role in this important royal ceremony. Even people who usually did not pay much attention to royal events found themselves impressed by the couple's coordinated appearance. Social media comments showed that many viewers appreciated seeing a royal partnership that looked genuine and modern, rather than formal and distant. People said that Catherine and William looked like a real couple who actually enjoyed working together, rather than just following ancient protocols. By the evening after the coronation ceremony, it was clear that Catherine and William's coordinated fashion choice had been a huge success with the public. Royal approval ratings reached their highest levels in years as people responded positively to seeing a monarchy that was willing to evolve and embrace modern values while still maintaining its essential dignity and traditions. Every single detail of Catherine and William's coronation outfits had been chosen for specific symbolic reasons. Royal fashion has always been about more than just looking good. Throughout history, kings, queens, princes, and princesses have used their clothing to communicate important messages about power, tradition, values, and their vision for the future. Catherine and William understood this ancient tradition perfectly, and they used it to tell their own story about modern monarchy. The silver embroidery on Catherine's dress was not just beautiful decoration. Silver has been associated with the British royal family for centuries because it represents purity, strength, and endurance. When the McQueen designers chose to use silver thread for the intricate patterns on Catherine's gown, they were connecting her to hundreds of years of royal tradition. But they were also making a statement about her strength and her permanent place in the royal family. William's military uniform carried even deeper symbolic meaning. He had chosen to wear the uniform of the Royal Air Force, where he had served as a search and rescue pilot for several years. This uniform represented his commitment to serving his country and his people. The silver medals and decorations on his chest told the story of his military service and his dedication to duty. By wearing this particular uniform, William was showing that he took his responsibilities as a future king very seriously. The coordination between their outfits created new symbolic meaning that had never existed before in royal fashion. When Catherine and William stood together, their matching silver details created a visual representation of unity and partnership. This was a deliberate choice to show the world that they would face their royal duties together as equal partners, rather than following the old tradition where the prince led and his wife followed. The white color of Catherine's dress also carried important symbolic meaning. White has traditionally been associated with new beginnings, purity, and hope. By choosing white for this historic ceremony, Catherine was signaling that she and William were ready to start a new chapter in royal history. The white dress represented their commitment to bringing fresh ideas and modern values to the ancient institution of monarchy. Even the style and cut of Catherine's dress communicated important messages. The fitted bodice and flowing skirt created a silhouette that looked both strong and elegant. The long sleeves showed respect for royal tradition, while the modern cut demonstrated that Catherine was not afraid to put her own stamp on royal fashion. The overall effect was a dress that honored the past while clearly looking toward the future. The jewelry that Catherine chose to wear with her dress was also carefully selected for its symbolic value. She wore diamond earrings that had belonged to Queen Elizabeth Lia, connecting her to the previous generation of royal women. But she paired these traditional pieces with modern styling that reflected her own personality and taste. This combination of old and new perfectly represented her approach to her role as a future queen. William's choice to coordinate his outfit so carefully with Catherine's was perhaps the most powerful symbolic statement of all. Previous generations of royal men had never paid much attention to how their wives looked at important ceremonies. The fact that William had worked so closely with Catherine to create their coordinated appearance showed that he valued her opinion and saw her as his equal partner in representing the monarchy. The overall symbolic message of their coordinated appearance was clear and powerful. Catherine and William were telling the world that the British monarchy was ready to embrace equality, partnership, and modern values while still respecting centuries of tradition and protocol. They were showing that it was possible to honor the past while building a better future. Royal symbolism experts who analyzed Catherine and William's coronation outfits said that their coordinated approach represented one of the most sophisticated uses of fashion symbolism in modern royal history. They had managed to communicate multiple complex messages about tradition, progress, partnership, and the future of monarchy, all through their careful choice of clothing and accessories. The success of Catherine and William's coordinated coronation appearance marked a turning point in how royal couples presented themselves to the world. For generations, royal marriages had been formal arrangements where husband and wife maintained very separate public roles. The prince or king was always the dominant figure, while his wife was expected to support him quietly from the background. But Catherine and William were changing all of these old rules. Their relationship had been different from the very beginning. Unlike previous royal couples who barely knew each other before marriage, Catherine and William had been friends for years before they started dating. They had met at university and had spent time getting to know each other as real people rather than just fulfilling royal duties. This genuine friendship became the foundation for a marriage that was based on mutual respect and shared decision-making. When they got married in 2011, Catherine and William had already started breaking some royal traditions. Catherine chose to write her own wedding vows rather than using the traditional royal ceremony words. William decided not to wear a wedding ring, which was unusual for royal men, but he made this choice together with Catherine rather than following automatic protocol. These small changes showed that they were willing to adapt royal traditions to fit their own relationship. Over the 12 years of their marriage, Catherine and William had developed a working partnership that was completely different from previous royal couples. They shared royal duties equally, with both of them taking leading roles in important ceremonies and events. Catherine was not just William's wife who attended events to support him. She had become a major royal figure in her own right with her own projects and responsibilities. This equal partnership was clearly visible in how they prepared for the coronation. Previous royal wives had been told what to wear by palace advisors and protocol experts. They were expected to choose outfits that would not compete with their husbands for attention. But Catherine had insisted on being involved in every decision about both of their coronation outfits. She and William had worked together to create their coordinated look. The planning process for their coronation appearance had taken almost a year. Catherine and William had regular meetings with fashion experts, jewelry specialists, and protocol advisors. But instead of being told what to do, they had made the final decisions together. This collaborative approach was completely new in royal history, and it reflected their commitment to making decisions as equal partners. Their coordinated appearance also reflected broader changes in how society viewed marriage and partnership. Modern couples expected to be equals in their relationships. They wanted to make important decisions together and to support each other's goals and ambitions. Catherine and William understood that the public wanted to see a royal couple that reflected these modern values rather than following outdated traditions about husband and wife roles. The positive public reaction to their coronation coordination proved that Catherine and William had made the right choice. Opinion polls after the ceremony showed that their approach had increased public support for the monarchy, especially among younger people. Many viewers said they felt more connected to a royal couple that seemed like real partners rather than following formal protocols that felt old-fashioned and distant. Other royal families around the world started paying attention to what Catherine and William had achieved. European monarchies began discussing whether they should also modernize their approach to royal partnerships. Some royal couples started experimenting with more coordinated public appearances after seeing the success of Catherine and William's coronation look. The change in royal dynamics that Catherine and William represented was not just about fashion and public appearances. It was about fundamentally rethinking what it meant to be a royal couple in the 21st century. They were showing that it was possible to honor royal traditions while also embracing modern values about equality, partnership, and shared responsibility. Royal historians predicted that Catherine and William's approach would influence royal couples for generations to come. They had established a new model for royal partnership that balanced tradition with progress and individual identity with coordinated presentation. Their coronation appearance had become a template for how modern royal couples could present themselves as equals while still maintaining the dignity and importance of their royal roles. The stunning success of Catherine and William's coordinated coronation appearance sent shockwaves through royal fashion circles around the world. Fashion designers who specialized in creating outfits for royal families immediately understood that everything had changed. The old rules about royal couple dressing were gone forever, and a completely new approach to royal fashion coordination had been born. Within weeks of the coronation ceremony, fashion houses across Europe started receiving requests from other royal families who wanted their own coordinated looks for upcoming events. The Swedish royal family was the first to officially request a coordinated outfit design for an important state dinner. Princess Victoria and Prince Daniel worked with Stockholm fashion designers to create matching elements in their formal wear that echoed Catherine and William's approach. The Spanish royal family also embraced the new coordination trend. Queen Letizia and King Philip began appearing at official events wearing outfits that featured subtle matching details. Their fashion choices showed clear influence from Catherine and William's coronation coordination, while still maintaining their own Spanish royal style and traditions. Fashion magazines started featuring special sections devoted to royal couple coordination. Vogue launched a monthly feature called Royal Partnerships that analyzed how different royal couples around the world were adapting the coordination trend to their own cultures and traditions. Harper's Bazaar created a new position for a royal coordination expert who specialized in analyzing coordinated royal fashion choices. The influence of Catherine and William's approach reached beyond European royal families. Fashion designers who created formal wear for political couples and celebrity partners began incorporating coordination elements into their designs. The idea that couples could enhance each other's appearance through careful coordination rather than competing for attention became popular far beyond royal circles. Young members of the British royal family were quick to adopt elements of Catherine and William's coordination approach. Princess Eugenie and her husband Jack Brooksbank started appearing at formal events wearing outfits with subtle matching details. Princess Beatrice and her husband Eduardo began coordinating colors and accessories for their public appearances. Fashion schools around the world started teaching courses about royal fashion coordination. Students learned about the careful balance required to create outfits that worked perfectly together, while still allowing each person to maintain their individual style and personality. The Catherine and William coronation coordination became a case study that was analyzed in fashion programs from London to Paris to New York. The impact on wedding fashion was particularly significant. Brides and grooms around the world began requesting coordinated looks that were inspired by Catherine and William's approach. Wedding planners reported huge increases in requests for matching details between bridal gowns and grooms' formal wear. The idea of wedding coordination evolved from simple matching colors to sophisticated harmony in fabrics, textures, and decorative details. High-end fashion retailers started creating special collections focused on coordinated formal wear for couples. Department stores launched couple coordination sections where partners could find formal wear designed to work together perfectly. Personal stylists began specializing in helping couples create coordinated looks for important events in their lives. The influence also extended to fashion photography and media coverage of formal events. Photographers began paying more attention to how couples looked together rather than focusing mainly on individual outfits. Fashion critics started evaluating coordinated appearances as complete presentations rather than separate fashion choices. Fashion historians recognized that Catherine and William's coronation coordination had created a permanent change in how formal couple dressing was understood and practiced. What had started as a single royal fashion choice had evolved into a new approach to partnership presentation that influenced fashion choices far beyond royal circles. The long-term impact of their coordination approach continued to grow months and years after the coronation ceremony. Fashion trends that emphasized partnership and equality became more popular across all levels of society. The idea that couples could present themselves as coordinated equals rather than following traditional dominant and supportive roles became widely accepted. By establishing this new standard for royal couple coordination, Catherine and William had not only changed royal fashion forever, but had also influenced broader cultural attitudes about partnership presentation and equality in relationships. Their coronation appearance had become a turning point that affected fashion choices and relationship dynamics far beyond the world of royalty. 1 year after the historic coronation ceremony, fashion experts and royal historians were still analyzing the lasting impact of Catherine and William's coordinated appearance. What had started as a single fashion choice had grown into something much bigger. Their decision to present themselves as equal partners through their carefully coordinated outfits had fundamentally changed how people around the world viewed the British monarchy and royal relationships in general. The photographs from that coronation day had become some of the most famous royal images in modern history. Museums around the world were requesting copies of the official coronation portraits to display in their collections. The Victoria and Albert Museum in London created a special exhibition about the evolution of royal fashion that featured Catherine and William's coordination as the centerpiece representing modern royal style. Fashion students and researchers continued to study every detail of their coronation outfits. The silver embroidery techniques used on Catherine's dress were being taught in textile schools as examples of how traditional craftsmanship could be applied in contemporary ways. William's uniform coordination was analyzed as a perfect example of how military formal wear could be adapted to work harmoniously with civilian fashion. The success of their coordinated approach had given Catherine and William more confidence to continue breaking other outdated royal traditions. In the months following the coronation, they had started making joint announcements about their royal projects, rather than following the old practice of maintaining separate public roles. They began appearing together at official events as co-leaders rather than having William take the primary role, while Catherine provided support. Their approach to raising their children had also been influenced by the partnership model they had established through their coronation coordination. Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis were being raised to understand that their parents worked as equal partners in their royal duties. The children often saw both parents participating equally in official ceremonies and royal responsibilities. Other aspects of royal protocol were gradually changing as a result of Catherine and William's influence. Palace staff had started planning royal events with the assumption that Catherine and William would coordinate their appearances and share leadership roles equally. The old protocols that automatically gave priority to the male royal were being quietly updated to reflect modern partnership values. The impact extended far beyond the British royal family. Monarchies across Europe had adopted similar approaches to royal couple presentation. The coordination trend that Catherine and William had started was now considered the modern standard for how royal couples should present themselves at important ceremonies. The old model of dominant husband and supportive wife was being replaced by coordinated partnership presentation. Public opinion surveys showed that support for the British monarchy had reached its highest levels in decades. The positive response to Catherine and William's partnership approach had convinced many people who had previously been skeptical about the relevance of monarchy in modern times. Their coordination had shown that ancient institutions could evolve and adapt to contemporary values without losing their essential dignity and importance. Fashion historians were already predicting that Catherine and William's coronation would be remembered as one of the most significant moments in royal fashion history. They compared it to other historic royal fashion moments like Princess Diana's wedding dress or Queen Elizabeth's coronation gown. But unlike those previous moments which were about individual royal fashion statements, Catherine and William's coronation represented something entirely new in royal presentation. The couple themselves seemed surprised by how much impact their fashion choice had created. They had made the decision to coordinate their outfits because it felt right for their relationship and their vision of modern monarchy. They had not expected it to influence royal fashion trends around the world or to change fundamental assumptions about how royal couples should present themselves. As they continued their royal duties, Catherine and William maintained their coordinated approach to public appearances. Their fashion choices continued to emphasize partnership and equality while respecting royal traditions. They had established a new template for royal couple presentation that would influence generations of future royal families. Looking back at that historic coronation day, it was clear that Catherine and William's decision to coordinate their outfits had marked the beginning of a new era for the British monarchy. They had shown that tradition and progress could work together beautifully. Their matching silver details had sparkled not just in the cathedral lighting, but had illuminated a path toward a more modern, equal, and relatable royal future.